and welcome to our January edition of Healthy Fayette County. And I'm very pleased to have two guests with me today. We have Tracy Burns from the Whitewater Valley Arts Association, among other interests that she has, and we have Tara Henry Madden. So, Tara, would you like to go first today?
I can go first today.
Wonderful.
So, January, great time for some New Year's resolutions and kind of getting started. People start thinking about maybe making some changes in their lifestyle and maybe trying to do some healthy things. And so that's kind of what I would like to talk about today. So if you ladies have questions as I'm going along, feel free to interject. But
Great.
I thought we might first talk a little bit about, I know weather is a factor in January, and this would apply for people that are maybe not going to work out outside, but just have to be out in the weather and the elements from time to time. So I want to talk a little bit about dress for that. So actually, you ladies have, the first layer would be a dry fit layer, so something like this to kind of wick the moisture away. Then we would want an insulating layer, so like your sweatshirt would be perfect for that. And I like that you have a hood, because it's always good to cover those extremities, so a hood or a hat, something like that. And then for your third layer, something that's waterproof or has a little bit of a sheen to it and is going to be wicking so that it would wick the water and the snow away, plus also help block some of that wind, because I mean wind, it's amazing the difference. It can be cold and sunny and cold and windy and feel hundreds of degrees different. So something to kind of block that wind and that moisture. So that would be one thing. But then the other thing with that is we don't want to be too heavy in our dress either, especially if you're going to be doing some cardio activities outside. So I always tell people, if it's, 30, really dress for it being about 40 or 45 because you're going to be physically active. And then again, that's when that moisture wicking layer becomes so important, because as you sweat, we're going to help, you might take some of those other layers off, keep that moisture wicking layer on, but then the minute you start to do your cool down, put those other layers back on. Same thing, I know a lot of our basketball leagues are practicing in the winter, and I know a lot of our guys and our ladies wear shorts, and then they just want to go right out to their car. It's only a few steps, I'm just going to cover those muscles. Warm muscles are so full of blood and they're so happy. And when you walk out into that cold and it's that sudden drop, those blood vessels constrict, and then you're looking at the chance of getting a muscle cramp or a spasm. So, like I said, make sure, it's so tempting. Oh, it's only a few steps to the car. Cover those warm muscles. They will be a lot happier with you if you do that. So like I said, the layering, and then like we talked about the hood or a hat, gloves, you don't realize, but gloves, any extremity that's exposed, we want to try to cover just to minimize heat loss, and it'll make that workout that much more comfortable. Again, when we talk about January, I tell people kind of ease into this gradually. Let's not start right off with 3 hours of workout a day. Let's kind of gradually.
That, right?
Yes. Let's kind of gradually work into that. I mean, ideally, we're going to get up to about 30 to 45 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. But let's not start there. A good, kind of mix. Let's start with a walk. Getting up and taking a brisk walk. And there are a lot of things that you can actually do in your normal everyday to kind of incorporate a little more movement without even really having to exert a lot of extra effort. So for instance, I know we've talked about before when you're watching TV on the commercial breaks. Maybe on the commercial break, every time there's a commercial break, you're going to get up off the couch and you're going to do 15 squats, or you're going to squat for the duration of that commercial break, or you're just going to stand and march in place for the duration of that commercial break. When we talk about going out into the community, I always like to say, pretend that there's a prize for parking the farthest away. And a lot of businesses, I would encourage you in January, give your employees some incentives to maybe incorporate some healthy lifestyle things in. So maybe do a contest. Who can park the farthest away? And make that the healthiest spot in the lot, and then give some kind of a prize or an incentive for that.
The healthiest employee.
The healthiest employee, Maybe make one day a day when we're going to not email, but we're actually going to get up and I'm going to walk to the desk of so-and-so and deliver a message, kind of like we used to do before we had email. So I think there are some things like that we can do to incorporate movement into our day as well as then I'm going to actually schedule. And I think that's a big key. Do this for yourself. Schedule a time that is going to be your time to work out. Make yourself that priority. I teach fitness classes at Enjoy, and I love my participants, but I tell them, when it comes to working out, I want you to be a little bit selfish. I want you to take that time for yourself, because it's not being selfish. When you think about, I'm going to improve the quality of my life, my overall health, I'm going to add longevity to my life, I'm going to have better quality of life, and then who's that going to benefit? Not only me, but it's going to benefit my grandkids, my kids, my neighbors, my church family, whoever I'm, engaged with. It's going to benefit them too, because I'm going to be the best version of myself that I can be. Not only physically, but mentally. I mean, winter is so dark and dreary that I think just that little bit of exercise releases those endorphins, and it can change a gloomy, dreary day into something that is a whole lot more pleasant, just because the outlook changes, the mental, the physical, and the spiritual outlook. And so I think anytime we can incorporate the slightest bit of movement, we're ahead of the game. So yes,
That's good.
that would be.
Now, I have the little bicycle that sits under the chair.
Absolutely.
And
You can ride while you watch TV.
Big Bang.
There you-
30
there you go.
minutes of watching Big Bang Theory.
And you've gotten your 30 minutes in for the day and didn't even realize,
That's right. That's
because
right.
you were
It's-
engaged in watching the show,
Right.
and it was painless, wasn't it?
It was.
Absolutely.
It was. Now that-
Absolutely. I love those little exercise bikes under. Yes, they're great for that.
It is helping. It's amazing. And once you're done, it's like, okay, I did that.
Right.
That was good. You
Right.
accomplished something.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. That mental wellness kicks in
did.
too
It
then.
did. It
Yes.
really
Goal
did.
achieved.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the address is really things you don't think of. You hear about dress and layers, but you don't think what the different layers are.
Exactly. And I think
So
a lot
important.
of times people reach for their cotton. They want to get a cotton shirt on. Oh, I'm going to put a long sleeve shirt on, then I'm going to put a sweatshirt over that, then I'm going to but that cotton actually, once it gets wet, it holds that moisture up against you, and so it actually makes you colder, but that's our go-to a lot of times. So like I said, that dry fit layer is really the key, and that windproofing layer.
Right.
Very much.
So
very
when
much
we
so.
see the football players go to the sideline and put on those big hooded
parkas,
they're doing that for their muscles.
absolutely, to keep them warm, keep
that's
them
good.
warm and happy, for sure.
Okay,
Yes,
wonderful.
yes. And I think too, we always think about exercising for ourselves, but anytime you can incorporate something that has your whole family doing it. And there are a lot. I mean, I know winter is dark and dreary, but there are fun things that you can do. Get out and go do. Take a nature hike in winter, because you'll be amazed at the fun things that you see and find in the winter that you're not going to find in the spring and the summer or even the fall. And that's something that you can plan your time. You don't have to be out for very long. You can break that up. Ice skating, going places like that. But anything that we can have an indoor dance party. What kid doesn't love to dance? So, put on some tunes, and mom and dad, brothers and sisters, everybody's having a dance party. Get that movement in there. Just get that movement in there. I always tell people, it's got to be something that works for you. Right. And it takes about 2 weeks to make a habit. So if you're forcing yourself to do something that you don't like to do, that habit is going to be miserable. But if we can incorporate these things that make it fun, get the twister board out. A game of Twister. Nobody says that exercise has to be this grunting and moaning and I'm dripping with sweat. Any kind of activity, any kind of movement that we can add in, it is a benefit. So like I said, the marching in place while you're watching the commercials on TV, anything like that. Try something new. Try a dance class if you're not a dancer. Try a dance class. Try pickleball.
That seems to be so popular these days.
Absolutely. I know a lot of my silver sneakers go right from silver sneakers to playing pickleball. So try pickleboard. I know the park's going to do some things. I think they had like a shuffleboard that they were going to try to incorporate into the gym. So any of those things, try a new hobby. But again, it doesn't have to be something where I'm, sweating and moaning and groaning. think about, I know you like to sew, you said?
Yes.
You know, you're using a lot of fine motor skills when you sew. When you're, getting up and down from the machine and all those things, you're incorporating a lot of moves that we do in a fitness class. You're incorporating bicep curls, squats when you're standing and sitting, a lot of things like that. You're an artist. Think about how many muscles you use when you're doing the different media that you use in art. Painting, all the fine motor skills, pottery, all of those things are ways that we're incorporating movement. I think about our singers, the breath control that they have to have. So again, any kind of yoga or exercise like that where we're focused on our breathing and how to take those deep breaths, improving overall fitness and wellness.
Sounds good.
And I think that's kind of the key. Everybody wants to be fit and they think that that has to be that rigorous exercise. But fit comes in a variety of sizes, shapes, abilities, levels. And that's where you have to, again, be a little bit selfish. Look at yourself. I always tell my participants, don't gauge yourself against anyone else. This is about you. Did you do more today than you did yesterday? I don't care if that's 1 push-up, 10 seconds. If it's more than you did yesterday, you have accomplished your goal. That's what we're after. It's about you. And you, by being in the gym or getting up off that couch, are doing more than the person that's just sitting there not doing that. Count that as a win, because it is. And like you said, you started with the bike and 30 minutes of Big Bang, and you're like, oh, wow, I'm already done with that. So now it's kind of become that habit that, oh, well, you know what, maybe I'll ride for, 15 minutes at the next show. Or maybe I'll, ride for 30 minutes in the morning while I'm watching Good Morning America. Or because then once you start to see those results, that's when it's like, oh, wow, this is, with that though, let's talk a little bit about results and how you measure that. Throw your scales away. Throw your scales away. Muscle weighs more than fat.
Yes.
Gauge your progress on 2 things. How do I feel? How do my clothes fit? Well, I guess 3 things. How do I feel? How do my clothes fit? And what's my overall energy level? Clothes are going to fit a lot looser if I have a lot of muscle that is very compact, but the scales are going to weigh heavier. And I think people get very discouraged by that when they start adding some weight training in with their cardio. They're like, oh my goodness, I'm gaining weight. No, you're gaining muscle. Muscle's going to weigh more, but do your clothes, are they fitting? Oh, well, yeah, my back, I've got a little extra room in my jeans, or my shirt's a little looser through my waist. Yes, because that muscle's weighing more than fat. So I want people to realize in January, that's a big thing I try to push in my classes. Throw the scales out. Go with your energy level. How do I feel? How do my clothes fit? Big key to being successful and taking those baby steps and counting those rewards as big steps of progress.
It's when you can put the jeans on when they come out of the dryer.
Absolutely.
Then you know, hey, something's changed
working.
here.
That's right. Absolutely. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
That's a great time.
Last
Good
thing,
information.
or one of the last things, hydration. In the summer, it's hot, we're thirsty, we tend to drink a lot more. In the winter, it's cold outside, and it's just we're not as hydrated. Plus, you don't realize how much moisture you're losing through even the face, the facial skin. Any extremity that's not covered, we're losing moisture. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Very important. I know I've seen, they've got them on sale, I think right now, the big jugs that have like 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 a.m., and it kind of, gives you an idea, by 2 o'clock I should have consumed this much water. Those are great tools, especially if you're just getting started. Because it's hard to say, oh, I'm going to, drink 8 glasses of water today. But if I have my jug and I can see, that also is that incentive, I'm halfway there. Right. Let me just go ahead and finish that off, because that is a big key. For mental wellness, keeping that mind sharp, we need to be hydrated. Keeping those muscles working, we need to be hydrated. And that's a big key that a lot of times we slight in the winter because it is cold and it's just not as convenient to
And
drink.
with the heat, it's taking a lot of the moisture out of
It
the air
is.
in the home, and so that
Drier
also
air,
adds
drier-
to the dry skin. so-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, herbal teas, is that, you count that all right with, or not?
Yes and no. Don't replace all of your water. You need some just straight water.
Okay.
Just because there are going to be some things in the herbal tea that could be like a slight dehydrator. And so we want to not replace all of our water.
Okay.
But I think it's fine to supplement with an herbal tea or a Powerade Zero or something like that to get that hydration.
Well, a lot of people think that drinking pop and stuff is good too, but that's a dehydrator as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely, absolutely. The caffeine in the pop, very, very much a dehydrator. So yes, we do, like I said, have those drinks as your treats and your rewards, but don't count them as your water consumption.
Right. My 2 cups of coffee a morning, they don't count. Right.
Right, unfortunately.
Now, my strawberry and hibiscus tea,
Well,
I count that,
think you
but
right.
but it's hard just to drink straight water.
It is. It is.
It's just a habit, though, like you say. It's
Correct.
just a habit.
Correct.
You get you like it, and then it's not like, oh, I have to drink this.
Right. Or even a little splash of a natural fruit juice in there.
Right.
Just a little bit. And again,
Right.
until you get in the habit, it helps to kind of sweeten that taste a little bit. Sure.
Okay. Even just a little bit of lemon juice in
Oh,
there.
absolutely. Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Sounds good. Do you have any other questions for her?
Not
Just that we need to do it,
That's
don't we?
right. Yes.
And I would love to have everybody come to my classes and join me in my classes at Enjoy Fitness. And that's another thing that there again, it's a pick your level. I know a lot of times people are intimidated by a gym setting, and I totally understand that. But I also realize, or I want people to realize, that we are a very welcoming family, and I love seeing my current participants interact with some of the newbies and the new people that come in. I love that we embrace that and welcome those new people, and so again, be that little selfishness, or have that little selfishness that you are going to take that time for you to come to the gym or to do some activity because it's all about improving wellness and quality of life.
What kind of classes do you have at the fitness?
So I teach silver sneakers, and you don't actually have to be a senior to come to those classes. Now, a lot of the if the class is to be paid for by insurance, that is more of a senior thing. But anybody's open to come to those, and that's a good starting point, especially for somebody that maybe hasn't been exercising, because it is a little bit on the lighter side. Okay, we do some cardio, but we concentrate a lot on strength training. Core and balance and things like that. Because again, when we get into winter and snow and ice, the risk of falls goes way up. But if you have a strong core, you have better balance, you're going to at least, even if you fall, hopefully minimize an injury or the severity of that fall. So that's one of the things we focus on in Silver Sneakers. Then for some of my other classes, I teach an indoor cycling class. I teach a step and sculpt class with a step riser that we go up and down on. But I have several ladies that come that don't use the step. And then I have several guys that come that add extra risers to make it a little more challenging. So the thing about our classes, and this would be not only my classes, but all the classes that Enjoy, the instructors realize that we're going to have all levels within that class. So we show a lot of options and modifications so that hopefully everybody can find the level that they like and that they're comfortable with, but it also gives them something to work towards to have that next level available. I teach a boot camp class, which is kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's a combination of cardio and strength training, core and balance, total conditioning, not as much cardio, more strength training, core, balance, those things. And I would say out of all the classes that I teach, if you want a really good cardio spin or step, probably the best cardio workouts. The difference being that spin, you're on a bike, so it's not as choreographed. So a lot of my guys like that because it's not choreographed, it's not dancey at all. It's just boom, I'm right here on this bike and I'm really gonna work out on this bike. Then boot camp and total conditioning, even though their names are probably the most intimidating, I think for my newbies, those are the most user-friendly because they have the most options and again, the less choreography.
Okay.
So those are some little things with that I think we could find a fit for everybody.
So they have other classes besides just
We
the fitness
do.
classes?
We do. We have a pound class. Have you heard about pound? No. Okay, so Becky Flannery teaches our pound class, and it is drumming.
Okay.
So it is, and she uses different things like pool noodles. Again, depending on your strength level, she has different weights of, the noodles or the drumsticks and so forth. So that's one of the classes. Zumba. Again, if you like to dance, Zumba is probably the class for you because it's a little bit of the Latin flair music, but she also has some other music, but a little bit of Latin flair and some, dancey moves and more choreographed and things like that. So that would be, I would say, for our people that like to dance, that would be the best class for them. So, yeah.
And the person next to you is not going to be going,
Oh, absolutely not, because everybody is so focused
That's
on what they're
good.
doing and yeah. So yes.
good. That
I took a class that was DNY. It was a dance, yoga, and martial
fun.
arts.
Oh, very fun.
But the teacher went back to Thailand, so it's kind of hard to.
Right, yeah, it would be hard to, yeah.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
interesting because she would do a little bit of Indian dance, then she would do some yoga moves, and then she'd do some martial arts
Neat.
kicks and things
Right.
like that. But she was a martial artist.
And
So-
then incorporated the other into that. How cool. Plus, you were getting cardio, strength, balance, core. I mean, you were doing all in one, yeah.
Yeah.
Bang for your buck. Absolutely.
So I would like to find that again, but like I said, she's in
Yes.
Thailand, so it's kind of
Right.
hard.
Yeah, that would be.
you're just going to have to learn how to teach that yourself.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Tara.
Yes, thanks
That gives us a lot of ideas and a lot of information, and I like to know why things. So that helps so much. That explain why. That helps me to remember.
Great.
So that's very good.
Very good.
So we'll switch over to what are you going to be doing and with the art gallery and things
Oh, gosh.
to
Lots of stuff.
keep us busy.
Well, we're getting a new board January 1st, so it'll be Judy Reno will be our new president, B.B. Bramer will be our new vice president, and Ben Allen will be our new treasurer, and then I'll be secretary. And then we also have general member meetings are always the second or the third Wednesday of every month at 7 o'clock, and those are open to anybody that wants to come. We're working on a new website, we're working on new workshops, and we're trying to get new committees. So if anybody wants to volunteer and work at different spots in the organization, we can use your help. We have the Wood Carvers Art Show is coming up on the second Friday of the month, and that'll be from 6 to 8 on January the 10th. And so, and you can follow us on Facebook. We have some other workshops coming up too. We'll probably have a rug hooking workshop that I teach. There'll be a crochet class. There's stained glass classes that are going on, and we're trying to get more. And that's the most popular one. There's only 6 people who are able to go to that one because of the equipment, but we have to share. So that takes a little less and more space and stuff too. And so if you want that class, please sign up. We'll get to you when we have
Right.
another date. And then IPA, Imagine Performing Arts, has been working on their building, and they've been doing a lot of things on that. And they're going to have an open mic night the 33rd Friday of January. So, and to follow them on the Facebook page too, because they have a lot of stuff going on. They'll probably have some more performances for the spring, so they'll probably doing auditions sometime soon. They are also have the choir, and they have the band, and they're always looking for members for that. So
A lot going on.
yeah, so
Right.
there's a lot in that part of
Right.
town. So
But in December, I know you had the window display. How did that go? Was it?
well, it's a little early yet, but we're trying to we're not sure who won the contest, but it's been interesting because they had it through Thanksgiving, and I think there's about 6 or 7 people have been working on it. So every week it changed. So it's Thanksgiving into Christmas. So each week they were changing something in there, and they're wanting kids to come and look at seek and find. There was a Fluffy the cat they had to find. There was different things throughout the whole scene that they had to find out. It's a 1950s scene, a silver Christmas tree, a train set.
A train set.
You know,
Kind of reminiscent of the old blocks and Wassons and Ayers, the windows that we used to go
So
to
that's
as a kid.
That was the whole idea.
How neat.
And so we are also working on, that window is going to be a mini art gallery sometime too.
Neat.
So it's going to be like a way to have another place to put art and hopefully bring people into the building.
Yes.
So this is coming from Hector Perez, you know, he's from New York, and so he's giving this like a Macy's feel, you know, or just those old style window. So it's going to have the black curtains up, have a shelf and a hanging system and everything. So we're working on that, and so just a lot of things are happening that are there. We're getting a new TV for in the front window to advertise what's going on and to show our sponsors and things like that. So that way people can see what's going on and see our hours and things. So a lot better.
Good.
That'd be great. I mean, we're talking about activity in January, and so it ties in so well. I mean, they could take a little walk downtown and look at the windows, see what's going on, sign up for class. Think about, I mean, you're getting, again, there's your activity. As you start doing these new skills in the art classes, you're getting activity and learning a new skill that
And park at least a block away.
absolutely. There
So
you go.
Or at least in the
right.
courthouse
parking lot.
Yeah.
There you go. So,
Right.
I mean, right, we can fix them right up in January.
Yeah,
They can just multitask all the way.
Just the little things, isn't it? It's the little things
or
to add
imagine
up.
performing arts. I mean, like we talked about, our vocal singers, but the people in the band, you're using a lot of muscles there and that core to sit up straight. And so, you know, encourage people to go out and sign up to be in the band and the choir.
Well, they're looking for volunteers to help, and there's 4 flights of stairs.
Well, there
I
you
was
go.
going to say
There
those
you go.
stairs that I
So
yeah,
talk about getting your steps in. That's a perfect opportunity.
That would do
I mean,
That
yes.
certainly would.
Yeah.
Come on down. We can fix you right up.
That's right. That's right.
Very good. Very good.
And then other things that we have looking forward to is, if you noticed, we have our logo for Healthy Fayette County.
so cute.
And it was designed by one of the students at St. Gabriel's. We had a contest and it was really hard because there were some wonderful drawings.
Yes, there were.
And this was voted on by the public to win, and so you'll be seeing that around more. Our art strolls will start up again in April, from April to October, and each one has a theme, and so we'll be publishing that, especially on our Facebook page, so you'll know. But the first one starts out in April with some music, and so just all kinds of things happening to get you out, get to walking, park and walk downtown, walk to wherever our registration desk or to the Connor statue and over and go through the art Whitewater Valley Art Association. They always have such amazing displays. There is so much talent.
So much the talent is just, I
And
mean,
it's not just
so-
painting. It's not just
No,
oil.
it's not.
It
You know,
is
it's the wood
everything.
carvers.
Right.
They're just
Oh,
awesome.
that is amazing.
Yeah, the wood carvers have never had a art show before, so this is going to be a really good one for that. And then
Yes.
we're actually using our second, our workroom wall as like a bee gallery now. So we have
Okay.
been having overflows. We've had so much in the other gallery, but it's all good, and so we put it on the second one. And we're
Yes.
trying to come up with some different ideas of how to use that other wall
as a display.
as
or
a play stay or something.
Neat.
Yeah.
And I will say the art covers are, talk about being welcome, and they will take
Yes.
anyone with any kind of talent or no talent.
Right.
And they helped me. I went to a couple of the meetings or the workshops,
Yes.
and they're wonderful. They're so patient, and they're showing what they're doing. Or you ask, well, how did you do that? And they'll show you how they did it, and what knife you used, and how you sharpen it, how you don't get cut. I did a complete thing, and no nicks, no nicks.
You still
or
have all your
scratches.
fingers? I see
I
that.
have all the
Yes.
fingers.
Yeah.
There were no nicks.
Right.
They do a wonderful job. So all of the classes, I've just only heard wonderful things. So.
And they like to give you a hard time just to pick
oh yes,
on you too.
and that was
so
fine. Yeah, because you give it
They have a
back.
good, they have fun.
Yes.
But I think, those classes are such a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
And in January, what a better time
Right.
to start. I mean, it's dreary outside. Come in and learn a new skill. Neat. Very neat.
Okay. Well, we thank everyone for joining us today. This is Trish Haper and with Tara Henry Madden and Tracy Burns, and we thank you so much for your time.